Someone once looked you directly in the eye and told you exactly what you needed to hear. Not the truth, not the full story, just a version of reality that would make you lower your guard. And the worst part, you believed them. Not because you were weak, not because you were stupid, not because you were easy to fool. You believed them because they knew how to speak to the part of you that still wanted to trust. Then later, when the conversation was over, you sat there replaying every word, every pause, every look, every little shift in their tone, and something inside you kept asking the same question. What just happened? That feeling has a name: confusion. And in manipulation, confusion is not an accident. It is the weapon. Long before modern psychology had names for gaslighting, emotional hijacking, projection, and blame shifting. Arthur Schopenhauer saw the game. He studied the way people argue when they do not care about truth. He called it eristic dialectic, the art of being right, even when you are wrong. He understood something most people are too polite to admit. Many people do not argue to understand you. They argue to control the frame. They argue to win the room. They argue to make you doubt what you clearly saw. And once you understand these tactics, you stop asking, "Why do I always get confused?" And you start saying, "I know exactly what they are doing." Here are 8 rules from Schopenhauer's world of psychological deception that will make sure you are never fooled the same way again. Rule 1: they do not attack what you said. They attack a distorted version of it. This is one of the oldest tricks in the world. You say something simple, something clear, something specific, and they stretch it until it becomes ridiculous. You say, "I felt hurt when you ignored me." They respond, "So now I'm a terrible person who can never have space." That is not what you said. But now you are no longer defending your original point. You are defending yourself against an accusation you never made. Schopenhauer understood this perfectly. If they cannot defeat your real argument, they will build a weaker version of it and defeat that instead. Modern psychology calls this a straw man argument. But in real life, it feels more personal than that. It feels like your words are being stolen from your mouth and turned into something ugly. That is the trap. They want you to abandon your point and start explaining your intentions. Because the moment you are explaining yourself instead of holding your position, they have moved the fight to a place where they control the rules. The answer is simple. Do not chase the distortion. Return to the original sentence. Say, "That is not what I said. What I said was this." Repeat it calmly, again and again. Manipulators hate repetition because repetition kills confusion. Rule 2: they push you emotionally, then judge you for reacting. This one is brutal. They provoke you. They interrupt you. They twist your words. They dismiss your feelings. They keep pressing the same wound until finally you react. Maybe your voice changes. Maybe you get defensive. Maybe you finally say something sharper than you wanted to. And suddenly, the entire conversation becomes about your reaction. Not what they did, not what started it, not the pattern, just your tone. Now they say, "See, this is exactly what I mean. You're too emotional. You always overreact." And just like that, they become calm. You become unstable. They become reasonable. You become the problem. This is how emotional manipulation works. They create the fire, then blame you for the smoke. Psychologist Daniel Goleman popularized the idea of the amygdala hijack, when your emotional brain overwhelms your logical brain. Manipulators may not know the science, but they know the effect. They know that if they can make you react, they can use your reaction as evidence against you. Schopenhauer warned that in arguments people often use emotion not to reach truth, but to destroy composure. because the person who loses control often looks wrong, even when they are right. So the next time someone tries to push you into a reaction, remember this. Your calm is not weakness. Your calm is protection. Do not give them the outburst they are trying to collect. Pause, breathe, then say, I'm not going to let my reaction become the topic. Let's return to what happened. That sentence cuts the wire. Rule 3. They turn one moment into your entire identity. You bring up one issue. They make it about your whole character. You say, you were late. They say, you always need to control everything. You say, that comment hurt me. They say, you're just too sensitive. You say, I need honesty. They say, you have trust issues. Notice what happened. They did not respond to the moment. They made the moment about you. This is how manipulation becomes psychological. Because now you are no longer discussing behavior. You are defending your identity. Schopenhauer knew that one way to escape an argument is to make it wider, vaguer, and more personal. Modern psychology would call this overgeneralization. One event becomes a pattern. One feeling becomes a flaw. One boundary becomes a diagnosis. And once they make the argument about who you are, the facts disappear. This is why these conversations feel so exhausting. You entered the conversation trying to solve a problem. You left it wondering whether you are the problem. That is not communication. That is misdirection. The defense is to narrow the frame. Say, we are not discussing my entire personality. We are discussing this specific action. Specificity is power. Manipulation thrives in vague accusations. Clarity destroys them. Rule 4, they act like confidence is proof. Some people do not need evidence. They have volume. They have certainty. They have that calm, dismissive smile that makes you feel like you must be missing something. They say things with so much confidence that you start questioning your own memory. Maybe they are right. Maybe you misunderstood. Maybe you are overthinking. But here is the truth. Confidence is not evidence. A lie, spoken calmly, is still a lie. Schopenhauer understood that many people win arguments not by being correct, but by appearing impossible to challenge. They speak quickly. They interrupt. They laugh at your point. They make you feel foolish for even asking. And if there are other people watching, this becomes even more powerful. Because humans are social creatures. We often mistake confidence for competence. We assume the person who sounds certain must know something. But manipulators know this. That is why they perform certainty. They do not just argue with you. They perform for the room. The solution? Slow everything down. Ask one simple question. What exactly proves that? Not aggressively, not emotionally, just calmly. What exactly proves that? That question is dangerous to manipulators because it forces confidence to become accountable. And most false confidence collapses the moment it has to explain itself. Rule 5, they make a claim, then force you to disprove it. This is one of the dirtiest tactics. They accuse you. They imply something. They make a dramatic claim. Then they sit back and demand that you prove it is not true. You only care about yourself. You were probably lying. You never really supported me. You're just trying to make me look bad. Now you are trapped. Because how do you prove what is inside your heart? How do you disprove an accusation built on someone else's suspicion? This is called shifting the burden of proof. The person making the claim should have to support it. But manipulators reverse the pressure. They throw the accusation at you and make you do the emotional labor of escaping it. In abuse psychology, a related pattern is called DARVO: deny, attack, reverse victim, and offender. They deny what they did. They attack your reaction. Then they position themselves as the injured one. Suddenly, you are the one apologizing. You are the one explaining. You are the one trying to prove you are not cruel, selfish, dishonest, or crazy. Schopenhauer saw this as a debate trap, because the moment you accept the wrong burden, you are already losing. The answer is, I'm not going to disprove an accusation you haven't proven. Say it once, calmly, then stop talking. That silence will feel uncomfortable. Good. Let the discomfort return to its rightful owner. Rule 6. They soften you before they twist you. Not all manipulation begins with aggression. Sometimes it begins with warmth. They agree with you. They compliment you. They make you feel understood. They say, I actually respect how you think. You're one of the few people who gets it. I know you're smarter than most people. And for a moment, your guard drops. Because being understood feels good. Being validated feels safe. Then, once you feel safe, they redirect you. They attach their conclusion to your ego. They make disagreement feel like betrayal. They make it seem like if you were truly smart, mature, loyal, or open-minded, you would agree with them. That is not connection. That is control disguised as connection. Schopenhauer knew that agreement can be used as a hook. A skilled manipulator may first step into your world just long enough to lead you out of it. This is why flattery can be dangerous. Not because compliments are bad, but because some people use compliments the way a hunter uses bait. They are not admiring you. They are positioning you. The defense is to separate validation from truth. Just because someone makes you feel seen does not mean they are being honest. Just because someone praises your intelligence does not mean their argument is intelligent. When someone flatters you before pushing you toward a conclusion, pause and ask, what do they want me to accept right now? That question brings your guard back online. Rule 7. When they cannot defeat your point, they attack your person. This is where the mask slips. When facts fail them, they come for your character, your intelligence, your past, your insecurities, your mistakes. They say, you're too damaged to understand. This is why nobody takes you seriously. You always do this. You're acting just like before. Now the conversation has left reality. It is no longer about truth. It is about pain. This is called an ad hominem attack. Instead of answering the argument, they attack the person making it. But knowing the name is not always enough, because in the moment, it still hurts. And that is the point. The attack is designed to activate shame, because shame makes people abandon their position. When someone hits a wound, you stop thinking clearly. You start protecting yourself. You start defending your worth instead of defending the truth. Schopenhauer understood that if someone cannot win logically, they may try to win psychologically. So do not follow them there. Do not defend your entire life story. Do not prove you are a good person. Do not open every wound just because they pointed at one. Say, that is a personal attack. It does not answer what I said. Then return to the point. A manipulator wants you emotional, scattered, and ashamed. Stay boring. Stay precise. Stay on the argument. Rule 8. They make walking away look like losing. This is the final trick. And maybe the most painful. You finally stop engaging. You realize the conversation is going nowhere. You protect your peace. You walk away. And then they smirk. They say, exactly, and run away. That's what I thought. You know I'm right. And suddenly, even your silence feels like defeat. This is how they keep you trapped. They make staying painful and leaving humiliating. Schopenhauer understood that some arguments are not designed to be resolved. They are designed to exhaust you. Some people do not want closure. They want access. Access to your attention. Access to your nervous system. Access to your need to be understood. And once you understand that, walking away becomes different. It is not surrender. It is strategy. You are not losing the argument. You are refusing the arena. That is a very different thing. The most powerful sentence you can say is, "This conversation is no longer productive." Then leave. No final essay, no emotional speech, no desperate attempt to make them understand. Because some people do not misunderstand you. They benefit from misunderstanding you. And once you see that, you stop donating your energy to people who spend it against you. Here is what nobody tells you. The reason manipulation works is not because you are foolish. It works because you are trying to use normal human rules with someone who is not playing normally. You are looking for fairness. They are looking for leverage. You are trying to clarify. They are trying to confuse. You are trying to solve the problem. They are trying to become the victim of the problem. That is why you leave these conversations feeling drained. Your brain keeps searching for logic where there was only strategy. You replay it because something inside you knows the ending was wrong. But now you understand. That confusion was not a flaw in you. It was the intended result. Schopenhauer's darkest insight was this: in many arguments, truth is not the prize. Control is. And the people who master this often do not look evil. They look calm. They look reasonable. They look wounded. They look certain. That is what makes them dangerous. But these tactics only work when you cannot name them. The moment you name the tactic, the spell breaks. When they distort your words, say, "That is not what I said." When they attack your emotions, say, "My reaction is not the original issue." When they generalize your character, say, "Stay with the specific situation." When they use confidence without proof, say, "What evidence supports that?" When they shift the burden onto you, say, "You made the claim, you need to support it." When they flatter you into agreement, ask yourself, "What am I being pushed to accept?" When they attack your character, say, "That does not address the argument." And when they make walking away feel like defeat, remember, peace does not need permission. You do not need to win every conversation. You do not need to convince every person. You do not need to keep explaining yourself to someone committed to misunderstanding you. Sometimes the greatest victory is recognizing the game before it consumes you. Because the next time someone tries to twist your words, the next time someone tries to turn your reaction into the crime, the next time someone tries to make you doubt what you know you saw, you will not feel the same confusion. You will feel recognition. And recognition is where freedom begins. Drop one word in the comments that describes someone who has used one of these tactics on you. Do not name them, just the word. And if this helped you see the pattern, the next video goes deeper. It reveals the psychological profile of people who use these tactics every day. Why they seem calm while hurting you, and why they always seem to find people who still try to understand them. Watch it next, because once you understand the tactic, you need to understand the type of person who uses it.